All right, guys, so this video, I'm going to kind of go through one of my workouts that I did on deadlifts the other day. So I just released a 12-week deadlift PR program, which I'm currently running myself on the way to a 683 deadlift. It might be an ambitious goal, but I'm doing that. And so this is kind of a preview of one of the workouts from this 12-week program, which you can get by going to my website, peterubish.com. I'll link that below, and the program is on there. So the program is 12 weeks total. It's all outlined. It is based off percentages and RPE. So when I coach guys, I input actual numbers based off of their maxes and stuff, and it's not based off percentage or RPE necessarily, although there is some RPE in the programming that I do with clients. But I can only take on so many clients. I try to limit it now to about 30 people at one time. And this is a way for me to offer something for guys who I'm not able to coach due to the wait list and things like that. And I honestly think this is the best deadlift program out there. I put a lot of time into it. So it's basically 28 pages, and then there are about 14 pages of an exercise index to show the exercise demos for a lot of the exercises, basically all of the exercises. So it's really 42, 43 pages total, but roughly 28 plus the exercise index. And I cover a few things in there. I give my thoughts on some things like nutrition and supplementation and all that, so you can look at that, and that will be available for purchase below. But I'm going to show the footage of one of the training sessions that I did that's in the program to kind of give you an idea. I try to keep it to where the training sessions can be done in an hour if need be, but you can extend them up to, they could take an hour and a half. And I feel confident that this will get anybody the results thereafter if they stick to the program, which I'm going to demonstrate. I'm running the freaking program right now. So I'm really excited about that. That'll be there, and I'm going to kind of give my breakdown of how the workout felt and how things are progressing, because I inputted my max for the program at 551 pounds, which is probably fairly accurate given that it had been a little while since I had deadlifted. It had been about a month leading up to it, but I think I can get a lot of that strength back pretty quick, and there'll be some good results to come. So I'm excited about that. Still pushing bench as well, obviously, and upper body. I did a bunch of bench work yesterday with 248 pounds, 4 sets of 5. I did a lot of push downs, a lot of curls, rear delt flies, tons of core work I'm doing. That's been a huge point of emphasis in the new year. That is a huge point of emphasis in this program. This program would cover the entirety of your lower body training. So you wouldn't add any lower body training to this. You would just have to do the upper body work, your bench work on your own. But this would cover all your lower body training. I feel confident that you could PR your squat as well. And you can choose either 2 to 3 days. So I'm doing the 2-day version, but I know some of you guys like to do more. And there's an optional 3rd day each week as well for the program. But I feel confident it'll work, and I'll get into that now. All right, guys. So this is one of my deadlift workouts. A few sets here with 402 pounds, 182.5 kilos. And these are library deadlifts. So library deadlifts I've talked pretty extensively about in the past, but I'll touch on them again. They are the concept of lowering the bar, setting it down as quietly and gently as possible. So the big misconception on these is that you lower the bar slowly. As you can see, I'm not necessarily lowering the bar slowly, but it's under control. And then at the very bottom especially, I really tighten up through the lats and try to set it down without making any noise. Hence the term library deadlifts. So these are deadlifts that you should be able to do in the library without getting kicked out. And they engage the low back, the lats, and the hamstrings to a much greater extent than just putting the bar down. And even if you're not doing library deadlifts, you should still do set the bar down under control, albeit not to this cadence, not this tempo, but you should still control it to an extent because there's gains to be made on the lowering portion. Now, this is a side view which I thought I'd provide because another big misconception on deadlifts is that you need to turn it into almost a squat. The hips need to be fairly high on the deadlift with your arms taut, your arms locked out basically is what that means. Shoulders just in front of the bar and your head up. That is the ideal deadlift position, and it's going to vary a bit person to person based on your mechanics, based on how long your femurs are. based on how long your torso is. That's going to affect things. But with deadlift, you should be just over the bar so that the hips are not shooting up on the initial pull, because that's wasted motion. So it's not a reverse squat, but this was the last set of 5. This is all part of my 12-week deadlift program. This is one of the days here that I'm doing. So you're kind of getting a preview of that. You can get the program. I'll link it below. This was the last set. And this is beltless, obviously. So some days are beltless, some are not. After that, I went to Nordic hamstring curls. So I set them up off a bench. This is the ideal method. You get more range of motion than just going off the floor. That's why I do them off a bench. I try to control them as much as possible on the way down, and then I catch myself, and then I push up just enough to get back up. So you want to keep the torso from folding over, because if the torso folds over and you start bending over like a good morning, you're going to take the hamstrings out of it. Lower yourself as slowly as possible under control, catch yourself, and push off just enough to give yourself the momentum to get back up. So those are the big mistakes: folding at the torso, going too quick on the way down, and pushing off too much at the bottom. Almost no one is going to be able to do these unassisted without pushing off. I have only seen, I don't think I've ever had a client in the hundreds of clients I've coached who could do these without pushing off. So that's not cheating. You're still going to get a lot out of these. After this, I moved on to alternating barbell step-ups. And the key with this one is you need to switch legs each time. That makes these a lot more challenging by breaking up your momentum than just powering up on the same leg each time. And I try to push off just enough to let my glute take over and do the work to get the rest of the way up. And then I lower myself on the eccentric as slow as possible, under control, and I try to land gently on the feet. So you try to land as softly as possible again here, while lowering yourself as slowly as possible to really work the glute. So you can see how a lot of these movements, these exercises, come down to your execution of them. If you approach them with crappy form and with poor mechanics and poor cueing, you're not going to get as much out of them as if you do them the proper way. So you can take any exercise, and you can even use lighter weights and yet still get a heck of a workout out of them just by doing things properly. Execution is what it's all about. That's what's going to help you with your max and being explosive and all that sort of stuff. So step-ups, not my favorite unilateral variation. I like some others a lot more, like obviously split squats. But these are also a part of the program that I've built in. And they're more time-consuming. Like this set takes quite a while. But again, that's because I'm not just speeding through it and going through the motions. You really need to, dial yourself in, hone yourself in to not just go through the motions. Get that execution down. So this is predominantly a glute and quad exercise. I believe I have 143 pounds on the bar here, 65 kilos. And this was a good weight where I was doing, I believe, 6 reps per side. And I got a pretty good workout in with these. So this was after the Nordic hamstring curls. And this is all going to be part of the program. You guys will see it. It's all in there. And I tried to make it where it wasn't overly time consuming, but it would still be enough to get the job done and lead you to PRs. So I feel very confident that those who put in an accurate starting max to base their numbers off of and who follow the program to a T, you're going to see good results. Now, as I touched on, there is a heavy core component to this program. I do not want to neglect core on this program because that can lead to back issues. So ab rollouts on the knees here, not really a huge problem for me. I believe I did 20 on this set, and this is one of the main core exercises I like to rotate in. There's also some others like weighted planks, weighted side planks, things like that. But core will be hit a few days a week. You can add in more core. Core is actually one of those areas that I don't feel you can overdo. So if you'd like to add in more core work, I would not mess with the program at all. I really wouldn't. Outside of adding in possibly more core work, that is the one area where you can get away with more without it coming back to haunt you. Because you guys got to remember, recovery is the other half of the ball game. If you overdo the volume and kill yourself and wreck your back, you're not going to see results. So you have to account for the recovery aspect of things, which is why I try to make everything manageable. I've been doing this. I've been coaching for 11 years. I know what I'm doing with that, and that was one of the big things to focus on as well. But core work is a huge part of the program. That is it, guys. If you like the video, subscribe, share it with a friend. That helps grow the channels. Give it a thumbs up. Thank you.